Bio supplements and functional foods, legal developments, ingredient news, education, inspiration, entertainment, insider in the afternoon.
Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Insider in the Afternoon. Hope you're all doing well. It's a little chilly here in Colorado. That's why I'm wearing my hat today. I'm your co-host, Todd Runestad.
Hi, and I'm Ola Lessard.
And we are the cofactors. We're getting pretty good at that, Ola.
We're getting closer, but we're not quite there yet. But we will be.
One of these days.
It takes only 10,000 hours of practice to become an expert. So we got to run away.
Oh my God. I was taking this art class once and the painter, she drew this beautiful lake with trees and a mountain scene. And she did it in 2 minutes. And I said, oh my God, that only took you 2 minutes to do. And she said, plus 10,000 hours.
Exactly.
Yes. So speaking of wise people, we have a great special guest today, Sandra Carter, PhD. She's the co-founder of Mushroom Superfood and M2 Ingredients. We are gonna get mushroomy today, people. I'm really excited about that. I have mushrooms, magic. I don't know if these are magic. Let's see if they're magic. Oh.
We're all going to watch that today.
It'll take about 22 minutes for them to kick in, so just stay tuned.
I'm sure those aren't magic people, just lucky for us. But not for Todd, maybe.
The thing about mushrooms, so there's this great quote, a meal without mushrooms is like a day without rain. And you just love that. And so, when I was thinking about mushrooms, first I got here because Ola, you posted this really interesting thing on Facebook about hair ice. Charlie, show that picture of hair ice. And so apparently it's like this fungus. And so that got me into thinking, let's go deep onto mushrooms. And so this whole show today is going to be about mushrooms. And like any good mushroom trip, the show is going to be a half hour, but for you, our fellow viewer, it might seem like 15 seconds, it might seem like 15 hours, and that's the joy of it all. And so, because mushrooms are kind of neither fish nor fowl, I thought, Ola, we would play animal, mineral, vegetable.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Animal, mineral, vegetable.
And just so everybody knows, I have not been prepped at all for this little game, but I do love games, so I am ready. Let's go.
That's right. Like any good mushroom trip, we're not prepped. We're just going to eat it and see what happens.
We're just going to go. All right, I'm ready.
So animal, mineral, vegetable, I had to look up the rules just to be sure. And so the deal is, first, I'm going to tell you whether something is animal, mineral, or vegetable.
Okay.
And then you ask questions and I'll answer yes or no, and then we can figure out what it is.
Okay.
So because we're in the nutrition business, this is all going to be nutritional business sort of related stuff. So the answer is not going to be baseball. Just say
hair ice.
All right. Hair ice.
Was that it? Did I get it already?
That is such a great question. I can't wait till Sandra gets on.
All right, go ahead.
Because then we're going to ask her, is hair rice animal, mineral, or vegetable? It's kind of none of the above. That's the crazy thing about mushrooms. They're not in any kingdom, right? Okay, so first of all, animal. And remember, this is nutrition industry stuff. Animal. Go.
Okay.
So you can ask questions and I'll say yes or no until.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. Is it actually considered meat in our industry? Like the way it's used in our industry?
No.
Okay. Does this come in powder form?
Not really. There might be some innovation that does happen, but not usually.
I'm running out of stuff now. I was going with collagen and I was sure I had it in too, but okay. Is it fish based?
No.
4 legs?
No.
Does it wriggle on the ground?
Yes.
Okay. Is this related? Is it a snake?
Well, it's snake oil. I figured I would start low and
nice. Yes.
I think
ultimate insult in our industry. Way to go, Todd. That's great.
In the Chinese calendar, I am the year of the snake, and I'm
the year of the monkey. So I'm just like winging you around and whipping you through the forest, my friend.
I think I would rather be the year of the monkey. My ex-wife used to always point out how I was born in the year of the snake. I don't know if that led to our, whatever. Anyway, so let's move on here. Okay, and so now here's another one: animal, mineral, or vegetable. The answer, I don't know exactly, but it's not mushrooms. Go.
Water. Is it
No.
water? Okay.
No, but I think it might grow in water.
Oh, algae.
Ding! God, you are so smart. That was
I think
impressive.
vegetable. No, isn't that? It's plant.
Is
I
it?
think,
I
I
don't
think
even-
so. I think Sandra's nodding. She's with me. The sisterhood has spoken, Todd.
Algae is like nature's miraculous single cell, chemical factory.
Yeah.
It's the carotenoid cocktail king. I'm just not even quite sure about that. So that's point for you there, Ola.
All right.
And so I was gonna go with collagen, but since you already guessed it, I'm gonna have to. Okay, it is animal. All right, this is the last one. Animal.
Is it collagen? Is this a trick question? It was, wasn't it?
You know me so well. All right. That's it. Well, no, actually it isn't, but that's a really good guess. But this is all right, go. This is something
Oh, really?
different.
Okay. All right. Animal. Okay. Does it live in water?
No.
Okay. 4 legs.
Yes.
Okay. Is this available in supplement form? I'm assuming.
Yes.
Okay. Is it available in a powder? To your knowledge. Ooh, stuff.
No, I don't know. I guess you can get it in capsules. You can get it in capsules, tablets. You can get it in tablets. You can get it. I usually take it in an oil form, but
Okay. Fish oil? No, we said not fish based.
no. Right.
Okay. Is it oh no, it's an animal. Oh my goodness.
No,
I don't know.
It's
Give me a hint.
derived. It's derived from an animal. I'll give you a hint.
Lanolin? Is it
And
something
then
from
what-
a sheep or a
Yes.
goat?
So sheep, lanolin, and then what comes from the lanolin?
I don't know. What comes from lanolin?
Vitamin D.
Ah, really? That's where
Vitamin
vitamin D
D.
comes from?
Correct. Yes.
I did not know that. I learned something.
But not
That's
only that, but it
cool.
also comes from mushrooms. That's right. If you want to get a non-animal source of vitamin D, you can get it mushroom derived. Now, so for the vegetarians, I always had this thing where vegetarians are so there's various reasons why you don't want to, have animal products. But I'm thinking vitamin D, you're helping the sheep because they're shearing the sheep in the middle of the summer. They have to enjoy getting a haircut in the middle of summer. It's wool. Take the sweater off. I think if I was a vegetarian, I would be okay with lanolin-based vitamin D.
Mhm.
That's just me. I'm not a vegetarian, so
That's cool though. I did not know that's where we derive most of our vitamin D supplements from lanolin.
that's right. See, and then so Sandra, she snuck our way into the conversation. How exciting! We're almost there, people.
Perfect.
Our special guest star of the show. And so, but
We got a ringer over there. She's like nodding and giving me hand signals and yeah.
So let's go back to this hair ice thing.
Okay.
So Charlie, roll this little video. I think this is really interesting.
Yeah, so this is super cool. Let me set this up. I will say that I was walking through the woods in the morning this past weekend. I live in Bellingham, Washington. And I saw this thing there was basically no snow or even frost on the ground. So it's like normal green forest that we have here at this time of year. But it had been a chilly morning. And I kept seeing 3 or 4 times just randomly in amongst the green, there'd be a stick on the ground with a kind of big white blob at the end of it. And I was like, I thought the first one, honestly, someone wrapped a plastic bag around the end of a stick because it was just, I looked at it quickly and then I came back from breakfast and that was still there. And I thought, well, that's weird. And then I saw another one and I'm a very curious person. And so, and then I was like, God, it almost looks like a fungus, like you'd see. And we have a lot of mushrooms here where I live. I mean, this is a very mushroom lovers area. And I thought that looks like some kind of a cool, funky fungus because it would be like a bare stick and then on one end of this white blob. But at the same time, it looked like ice. And so finally I was like, I gotta stop. So I traipsed my way into the middle of the woods to closely examine one of these. And that's this video that you saw where it was absolutely ice. and as thin as a human hair. I mean, it just like a shock of hair, but made out of ice on these sticks. So I looked it up when I got back, and I posted on the Pacific Northwest Mushroom Facebook group. And it is really cool. It's called hair ice, and it really is quite rare in most places. It occurs only between latitudes 45 and 55 degrees north.
Wow.
So like Washington State's right in that band, Montana, New England, but that's kind of it in the US.
Wow.
It's 0.01 millimeters thick, same width as a human hair. And you have to have a specific mycelium for this to occur. So the mycelium, exactly, we can't even see that, but that's how these were. Imagine Todd was completely gray and white, and then we'd see it better. But so it's Excidiopsis effusa, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, is the specific mycelium that is on the stick, and only in those many conditions, and then on a chilly mornings at certain degrees in this latitude, it occurs. And so I was really lucky to see this, and it was fascinating. And so it sort of sparked this whole conversation about what else can mushrooms do? They seem to be doing everything these days. We're hearing about mushrooms everywhere. They're amazing, and they do so many cool things, including hair ice. So there's your science lesson for the day. But it was really cool.
I love it. So like, have humans figured out any sort of use for hair ice besides just as like, sort of like a crystal on a windowsill?
Not that I've seen. And the problem is it goes away. Right. And it's like I said, I mean, I walked probably 2 miles in the woods that day, and I saw 4 sticks with this on it, but in the middle of everything else with nothing on it. So it's really like this perfect storm of things has to happen. But I don't know, it's just beautiful and really, and I grew up in New England. I've never seen this before. It was really interesting. Yeah.
I love that. That's cool.
I
So
love it too.
now that we're getting into the forest, we're getting into the mycelial consciousness. Let's bring Sandra Carter onto the call. Sandra, welcome to the show. How are you today?
I am great, Todd. Thanks for inviting me on.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you, Ola.
Yeah, you too. Thanks for coming and joining us. This is great. And I'm loving the little mushroom on your shirt. You got to talk about this.
Right?
Well, we are everything mushrooms at our right. My phone, easy to identify. It has a mushroom on it. So everything that we can put a mushroom on, basically, laptops, you name it. You see mushrooms all over our facility. They're growing there. They're all over the place. They're on our clothes.
Well, I actually had special glass mushroom maids for my Christmas tree, because in my family culture, we grew up with a very German Christmas. So we celebrate on Christmas Eve. I have real candles on my trees, and mushrooms are such a big part of sort of the German culture, especially. And so I actually had an artist that I know make tiny little glass mushrooms to like grow on my Christmas tree.
Wow.
And I usually put those on the same places where I have my candles. And so no, I'm loving it. I love it. I love it so much.
That's really interesting. So Sandra, you're not growing mushrooms in the forest. You're not wildcrafting them. You're down in San Diego. You've got a facility, right? So tell us about this. This is M2 ingredients and Om mushroom superfood, right? So tell us, what do you got there? What's going on down there in San Diego?
Well, we grow 11 different species of mushrooms, and you were speaking earlier about ice mushroom or ice fungus. And the majority of the mushrooms that we grow are wood decaying in nature, right? So that's their primary decomposers. That's the role of mycelium on our planet. If you haven't seen Fantastic Fungi, I highly, highly recommend it. So, we started growing mushrooms. Well, our team started growing mushrooms over 40 years ago. So Steve Farrar, our mycologist, had originally started growing culinary mushrooms, more of the Asian, very unique varieties. And he had an opportunity to go to Tokyo and study Japanese growing technology, and which, of course, the Japanese, they're extremely sophisticated in everything they do. And
Maitake diffraction, I always think of that, right?
Yes. Exactly, and many other things. They have some very unique turkey tail products as well. So he was studying the Japanese technology, and he became very interested in the more functional or medicinal mushrooms, strains or species. So, lion's mane, cordyceps, reishi, that are grown in a more controlled growing environment to optimize their bioactive compounds to ensure that you're getting more consistency. And I was introduced to Steve at an integrative medicine conference. So my background is in preventive medicine. I have a PhD in preventive medicine, had been, involved in hospital administration and a lot of integrative medicine program development. And when I met Stephen at this conference and was, became more and more aware of the different species of mushrooms and all of their unique benefits, I just became fascinated with them. And so we started our business in 2010, and we've been growing mushrooms ever since. And so we grow them in San Diego, but inside in a completely controlled growing environment.
So what does that look like? Are these like shelves in a dark room kind of thing, or what?
So mushrooms actually, contrary to what a lot of people believe, these type of mushrooms love light. And so we have numerous different rooms, and within each of the rooms, we can vary the light. So some of the mushrooms like a certain amount of darkness during periods of their life cycle. We can vary the light, we can vary the temperature. Likewise, different species like colder than warmer, then colder than warmer. So we can do that. We can optimize all the airflow they all love. Mushrooms are, its own unique kingdom, but much more similar to the animal kingdom, since you started the show with that, than is plant life. Plant life split off 9 million years earlier than did the fungal kingdom. So mushrooms exhale carbon dioxide and inhale oxygen. So they love to have lots of oxygen around. So we grow our mushrooms in a growing bag. And so they are grown on an organic, very nutritious substrate. And then they grow in the bags themselves, and then we dehydrate and mill them in our facility as well.
I want to take this moment to just say that I think I'm tripping because you just said that mushrooms are more akin to animals than plants.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't normally think that. You would think, well, they grow in the ground, they come out of the earth.
Yeah, no. So here's another fun fact, since you happen to like fun facts. So there's a unique antioxidant that you can only find in fungus, lichens, and mushrooms called L-ergothioneine. It's very stable, can last for over 30 days. It's the only antioxidant that has been found that all mammal cells contain an active transport mechanism for that specific antioxidant, right? I mean, so we're related. We're related to the fungal kingdom, without a doubt.
Oh my God.
Really cool. Now, how many mushrooms, how many varieties is that present in of mushrooms? Like, is that in just a few, or is it kind of all mushrooms have that?
Yeah. Oh, but varying amounts. Oyster mushrooms tend to have some of the highest amounts.
Which I had for dinner the other night. So that's great.
That's really well. So, I mean, there are hundreds, right? If not thousands of mushroom species out there, but really there's, and maybe you're growing, a dozen or a couple dozen, but I think there's like the top 6 of like the commercially hot ones right there.
Yeah.
Give us a little elevator pitch, like, okay, Cordyceps, endurance, and you can find it in these sports products.
Yeah. Okay. I'll kind of go by popularity right now. Lion's mane, even through COVID, lion's mane just kept on going in terms of popularity and sales. So a lot of research behind cognitive benefits, memory, mood, depression, research related to the synthesis of a nerve growth factor. So, who doesn't need brain health right now? We all do, and stress management. Reishi, likely, so highly revered in traditional Chinese medicine. It can not only potentiate a weak immune system, it can help downregulate or balance. It's where came from. Balance, right? An overactive immune system. It's revered as an adaptogen, so it helps your reaction to stress. So instead of having that fight or flight mechanism, adrenaline pumping through your veins kind of reaction, it helps you have a calmer, more focused reaction, and also has great research related to heart health as well.
And is that called like the king mushroom? Isn't there something that's sort of the emperor?
The mushroom of immortality. The mushroom, yeah, you were close.
Right,
Give them a prize.
I love
and then cordyceps, totally unique, bright orange little squiggle mushroom, and Cordyceps militaris. It is known for its ability to help with availability of oxygen. And if you're an athlete, having more oxygen available helps with creation of ATP, our energy currency. So we've been involved with studies looking at increased max VO2, right? It's so time to exhaustion, all these other parameters. So you find Cordyceps as being a very popular in sports performance products. Chaga in the last 4 years has been chaga, it's the sexy new mushroom on the scene. So known for its unique array of antioxidants. So people associate it with healthy aging, not anti-aging. I think that is called death. Healthy aging, I prefer. So you see it in those types of products. And turkey tail, I mentioned earlier, probably is the most well-researched mushroom, right? And I am so glad to see it getting its very well-deserved attention. Unique polysaccharides, again, helping with your immune function. So had not previously received as much attention, but certainly in the research world, there's tremendous amounts of work done on turkey tail. And then we're seeing, of course, shiitake, maitake, tremendous, beta glucans, oral health in shiitake. And a new one you'll probably hear more about is Agaricus blazei, which is native to Brazil. But in China was named Supplement of the Year last year. So, we'll be hearing more about that.
Yeah. That's really cool. I mean, mushrooms to me are like hemp. Like the ceiling is so much higher than they're currently commercialized for. Like there's so much that we still haven't like actualized on them.
Yeah.
What do you see as like things that are happening in mushrooms that we just like the market, the consumer sort of, resonance hasn't caught on with yet?
Well, it really is starting to. And, I think a lot of the foundation was laid early on with Paul Stamets, and then mushroom coming out as well with, its sort of new array of different types of products to include in people's lives. And now, since we supply as well a lot of really hundreds and hundreds of brands around the globe, I'm seeing our mushrooms in chocolate and kombucha, right, in veggie burgers, in all kinds of different products, and the consumer is finding them. I think, Todd, we talked about this at Expo East. We had a TikTok on our master blend that got 2 million views and then was stitched around, and all these newcomers, new time mushroom consumers, came into the market. And then after Expo, actually, we had a similar hit on lion's mane mushrooms, someone, talking about how it had helped her memory and her focus. So I think the opportunity, with different product development, to create the awareness. And then I mentioned, Fantastic Fungi, great Netflix movie, as well as books like Entangled Life out there that are, creating such a wonderful awareness of the role of the fungal kingdom. So I think that there's enormous opportunity. And I think, in the Asian community, everyone knows about mushrooms. They know the different species of mushrooms. They're highly revered, and people take them every day. And I think that is what we'll be seeing in the Western cultures moving forward.
Yeah, it's so interesting to see their applications in all kinds of finished products. I mean, did you start at first as Om, and I know you had rebranded along the way. So let me rephrase. Did you grow to make your own finished products, and then you decided to get into the supply business, or did you start growing to like supply and then you're like, oh, we can do some, I have some ideas? Like how
Yeah,
did
it
that
was
work out?
vice versa. It was, we were a supplier to other brands. And I could see early on that there was really a need for a lot of education, one, and I felt there was a need for innovation. Most of the products out there were capsules at that time, and they were on the shelf that were, in the immune area, so very seasonal, right? Not getting a lot of attention. And so I realized, if we develop products that are more everyday use and really get behind educating people, then we can really help contribute awareness and grow this category. So we were the first to come out with mushrooms is a powder in a pouch, because a lot of people, juicing was back and smoothies. And so very easy to add in with all your other chias and proteins and everything else in your flax. And that became enormously successful. And, we're featured more in that functional food area. And then, from there, we've continued to develop really unique new products, different beverages with hot chocolate and coffee, protein broths that have a savory flavor with either plant protein or animal protein. So I have seen that other brands looking at what Own Mushrooms is doing and seeing the success, then they've said, oh yeah, let's go in. We could put them with our greens with Amazing Grass, or all these different brands have come along now. Vital Proteins with their collagen, and so it's just continuing to give the consumer an opportunity to see mushrooms and learn about them in lots of areas of the store.
So I have a quick question for you from a practical standpoint. So for example, the powders that you have. Is there anything people shouldn't do? Should they not get them hot to a certain temperature because certain nutrients or ingredients, you have to be careful about heat or mixing them with other things because it negates the beneficial properties. What about the products that you're making? I'd love to know a little more about that.
Sure. And that's a great question, one we often get asked. So any vitamin or protein will be denatured at very, very high temperatures. So we encourage people to use them sort of hot and cold. You can use them, just at whatever room temperature, and then you're going to get all of those unique compounds without denaturing them. However, beta glucans and antioxidants are extremely heat stable. So we recommend, if you're cooking, maybe add it if it's a stovetop at sort of the end of the cooking time frame. But we know people that bake with, and in banana bread, put in some mushroom powder instead of some flour. And so, you will, of course, lose some, but however, the heat will also help to loosen up some of the chitinous walls. So you might have more availability of some of the beta glucan compounds.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
We've only got just a couple of minutes left, and there's two things I want to talk about. And I don't know if we'll have time for both, but on the one hand, whatever you want to talk about, Sandra, there's on the one hand, what's also hip and trendy is the legalization of psychedelic mushrooms, right?
Yeah.
Like Oakland and Denver and Oregon, right?
Yeah.
And then so we can go down that path, or we can go down the other path of mycelium versus fruiting bodies. What do you want to talk about? We have 2 minutes.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, I'll say on the psilocybin side, I think that, has shone a big light on mushrooms in general, right? And their benefits, instead of people being afraid of mushrooms, like maybe I'll get high or poisoned, people are realizing, because 60 Minutes, did a great spot on it, and they're seeing more and more information out there on the benefits for people with addiction, with psychiatric issues. So I think that has been overall extremely beneficial for people making mushrooms much more approachable and understanding how amazing they are and what an important role they can play in our overall health and wellness, and specifically with psilocybin in mental health issues.
Yeah, I think that's really fascinating. Like, just psychedelics are like finally kind of gaining respectability.
Yes.
Outside of the Grateful Dead concert,
Yeah.
So I think that's really cool. So we just got 30 seconds left. So it seems to me fruiting bodies is like the traditional way because people for hundreds, thousands of years would pluck it out of the ground,
Right.
And so that's where most of the research is. But then like this whole thing about mycelium is kind of like a newer thing, but there's a lot to that, right?
Right. And we started the whole day today talking about mycelium, really, right? So it can last for thousands of years and spread out over, hundreds and hundreds of acres. And it's, it exudes these enzymes, and that's how it digests material, and has developed, a tremendous amount of immune properties. So we are big believers in Mother Nature at Ohm Mushrooms and M2 Ingredients, and we combine the fruit body stage as well as the mycelial stage of the mushrooms for the majority that go into that fruiting body stage. And some of the mushrooms, such as lion's mane, have unique nootropic compounds that are unique to the mycelial stage that you don't find in the fruiting body stage. So I think with the advent now of solid state fermentation, liquid fermentation, now we can capture that mycelial stage. Thousands of years ago, the traditional, Chinese healers could only capture the fruiting body that, came up for a few days, and then, its role is for reproduction, and then it disappears. And so we are capturing both stages of the mushroom.
I love that. That's really cool. And so, Sandra, I will see you at Expo West, and for everyone out there,
excited.
Go and see. So are both of your supply is M2 as well as Ohm going to be there at Expo? Is that like in the same booth, and you can?
Yes, the same booth. So I'm there representing along with our whole team, and we're all so excited to be there this year. Can't wait.
Yeah,
it'll be great to meet you in person for sure.
Yes,
and really bring one of those shirts. I'll definitely rock one of those mushroom shirts. That's really cool. Really nice. Sandra Carter, a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us. Ola, thank you for giving us the hair ice. That was like 2 years. And
thanks, Sandra.
We'll see you all next week. Thanks for joining us on Insider in the Afternoon.
Sustainable